These long dog days of summer, I mean, we just made it through a heat wave. Mama was parched through this heat wave. I was hitting up Dunkin' every single day, and I will continue to probably for the rest of my days, but especially this summer. Dunkin' is helping everyone stay cool this summer with its lineup of refreshers. These drinks are packed with bold, fruity flavors and served ice cold. It's amazing. Dunkin' refreshers are the perfect afternoon pick-me-up. I like to start my morning with them personally, and then sometimes I go back for a second one because I'm just feeling crazy. They come in a variety of delicious flavors, including fan favorites mango pineapple and strawberry dragon fruit. And then for a limited time, there's black cherry and there's pink pineapple. I'm going to tell you something right now, and it's a bold claim, let me tell you, but I stand behind it. Pink pineapple will change your life. It is so good. It has me feeling like I'm sitting in a pool, resort side, just living, honey. It's so yummy. Try your favorite flavor with green tea, sparkling water, lemonade, or Dunkin's all-new limeade. I haven't tried the limeade yet, but I'm going to. Usually I get my drinks made with green tea and occasionally lemonade, but I do really like the green tea. Or if you don't want to build your own, try one of Dunkin's curated refreshers like the Cherry Lime Ricky or the Ultimate Pink Daydream. The Cherry Lime Ricky, scrumptious. I could drink like 3 of these a day. They're so freaking yummy. Head to Dunkin' today and find your favorite refresher. Dunkin' refreshers contain less than 1% fruit juice. Limited time offer. When it comes to online college, Southern New Hampshire University is so good, it's scary. Listen, the facts don't lie. SNHU has degree programs that fit your goals, online classes that fit your life, and real support at every step. And if that wasn't enough, they've got some of the lowest online tuition rates in the U.S. This is an airtight case, you guys. Visit snhu.edu/morbid to get started. That's snhu.edu/morbid. Chilling crime cases are mysterious, but finding coverage shouldn't be. With the State Farm Personal Price Plan, you have options and can personalize your plan to help create an affordable price so you can get back to cracking all of life's bigger cases. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can choose to bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Head to statefarm.com to get a quote. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state. Hey, weirdos, I'm Ash.
And I'm Elena.
And this is Morbid.
This is Morbid.
Bitch.
On the weekend.
I know, it's so weird. I feel like we very rarely record on the weekends.
We try not to.
The Weekend.
The Weekend.
If you've seen the Urban Legend movie.
Which I hope you have. If you haven't, go watch it.
If you haven't, what the hell are you doing?
What the heliante?
What's that? If you haven't seen the Urban Legend movie, then where the hell are you at? I don't think that one really worked, but whatever.
I don't think it did.
Okay, I didn't need you to double down on my own opinion.
But here's the thing, I really liked it.
Okay, that's good.
I'm just very tired.
Yeah, no, big facts.
So tired.
We had our first live show last night.
Yay!
At the Wilbur.
At the Wilbur, ye old Wilbur.
Ye old Wilbur is what we found out it's called.
It was so much fun.
You guys, I said on my Instagram story, you showed up and you showed out.
You did. You showed in every direction.
You showed in, up, down, left, right, center, everywhere.
Under, on top.
It was so much fun.
It
was.
Like,
we had a couple of, like, hiccups, but, like, super minor hiccups, and you guys were just lolling with us.
Yeah, because they were funny hiccups. It's
they
not
were
they
great.
Ruined anything, but, like, it started right away when I didn't know when I was supposed to go on stage.
I know.
And I think everyone heard me over the microphone be like, do I go up now?
And I literally was like, yeah, just go.
Just go.
Go.
But, yeah, so that was so much fun, and we got to meet a bunch of you. It was great.
I know. Everyone we met was so lovely. And
the vibe was so good in there.
It really was.
Like, you guys really brought some just delicious vibes.
Yeah, here's the thing. you're going to be hearing this after it already happened just because of the way the cookie crumbles. But Sunday crowd, you better have brought it.
I hope you brought it.
Because Friday brought it.
They brought it.
Yeah, so yesterday's crowd,
Yeah.
hope you brought it.
And shout out to Lauren, who made us the coolest cross stitch I've ever seen.
And was the sweetest Bo Beatty. Sorry, I gave you the most awkward hug of human existence because my shoes were so high and the stage was high up. So I like went to give her a side hug, but I kind of just leaned on her.
I think I just grabbed your arm or your hand.
Elena's not a hugger, but
I just didn't know what to do.
You hugged last
hugged.
night.
Yeah.
And I hugged and we all hugged.
Hey, it's good. It's all, I love you guys.
Yeah, I say I'm not a hugger, but then I just go and hug everyone.
Yeah. You are.
Maybe
a hugger,
I'm a secret hugger.
You are.
You know what? I'm coming out of the closet as a hugger.
You're officially saying it.
Here I am.
Here she is. She's
Except
a
don't
hugger.
hug me. I'll hug you.
Yeah, that's all. It's like if I want to hug you, I'll hug you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I hugged you, I wanted to hug you.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that.
But yeah, we had everybody was so amazing, and we had all the people, you know, that love and care about us back there with us, which was so lovely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm exhausted.
It's very big tired.
You know, one of my kids is going through like a slight little like sleep regression type doodad. So,
The little doodad.
So I don't exactly sleep through the night ever right now. It's like, it feels like a newborn a little bit, but
I slept through the night and I slept in and I'm still tired.
I didn't sleep through the night, and then I woke up and took one of them to dance and then immediately went to karate. And this is like, John was gonna just do all the things.
Yeah, but
this
you
morning,
want to.
But because I had the thing last night.
And like we had some of the day taken out.
Yeah, I don't like missing like,
I get that.
bedtime with them and everything. So I was like, no, I want to do it all.
Aw.
And then I was like, but I'm so tired.
You're like that Sarah Jessica Parker movie. How does she do it all?
How does she do it all?
Except I think she might be a bitch in that movie and you're
Probably.
not. Well, I mean, you're bitching, but you're not a bitch.
You're bitching, but you're not a bitch. I like that.
Donist Darko.
But yeah, so I'm exhausted, but you know, here we are. It's all
We're
great.
here.
It's all good exhaustion.
It's honestly,
Positive
life
exhaustion.
has been like, well, before I go too far,
I was just gonna say, where's this going?
it's so fun. Professional life has been fucking sick lately.
Oh yeah, we are fucking
Professional
loving.
life did a 180.
Loving.
And then like personal life went a little like
Well, it's like life in our own little houses. A
great,
plus.
fucking awesome.
A+.
Outside of that,
Outside of that, could use a little WD-40 because it's a little squeaky.
I think we need more than
A little
that, babe.
squeaky.
But you know what,
But you know,
babe, I got you, babe.
I got you, babe.
That's we're Sonny and Cher before they divorced.
So there's that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a case for you today. That's
do.
why you're here.
They're like, can you get to it? They're like, can you stop being insane?
This could be very unhinged.
Probably.
But, you know, here we are. I'm going to talk about the Aspirin Bandit today.
The what? I just took a sip of coffee. Like the worst.
The Aspirin Bandit.
Is this about someone stealing the aspirin?
You would think.
No,
you would think
it's
it's
not.
a little different. So I know that's a very interesting name, but we'll get to it.
Topical.
So let's begin at the beginning.
Okay.
You know, a really good place to begin.
Yeah. By the way, I'm sorry about my straw. There's nothing I can do about it.
Oh yeah,
Mikey, don't worry. It's fine.
It's
I
cool.
need the coffee.
we have it. You know, we're trying to like be kind to the environment with glass and metal straws.
But then it does a little like.
But
But you know what? ASMR.
yeah, we
For
won't do it all the
free.
time, so don't worry.
Yeah.
So on the afternoon of January 13th, 1941, Betty Allen was home alone. Home alone.
Home Alone.
I was going to say home alone. I'm not really
well,
sure.
maybe she was both.
Chaperone. I don't know what's going on.
She was living that Macaulay. She was living that.
McCulkin life.
What?
That's what she was living.
Wait, what? Macaulay
Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin. I did the K too soon. Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
I told you.
Christ almighty.
I warned you.
What's the other Kirkin?
What's the other Kirk?
I'm thinking McCulkin. God damn it.
There's many Culkins.
Who's Roman?
Roman is Kieran, maybe?
Is
No.
it Kiernan? There's a Kieran.
Fucking A. Now I have to look this
We're
up.
never going to get to this story.
We haven't even started this.
Hello? I think
have
it's
to-
Kiernan Culkin.
I think
Or is that
you're right.
Kiernan Shipka? Yeah, it's Kieran Kulka. It's Kieran Culkin,
All right,
but Kiernan Shipka.
There's Macaulay Culkin. There's Rory Culkin.
No, you don't have to tell me all of them. I just like Kieran.
And Kieran Culkin.
Kieran.
Kieran Culkin is Roman.
He is.
But Rory Culkin was in Scream 4. He plays Charlie.
Oh, I did like Charlie too.
And I thought he was so good in that.
He really was.
I really thought he was awesome in that.
Of all the Culkins, Kieran is my favorite.
Kieran is your favorite. I mean, I get that. I think he's pretty high up on people's lists right now. But honestly, they all kind of rock.
Yeah, they're all good.
They're all pretty great.
I like you all. I'm just saying.
I like you
Kieran
all.
the best.
Since you're obviously listening to this podcast.
Listen, Culkin weirdos.
Listen, Culkin.
I feel like I'm losing my mind.
One little side note again.
Oh my God.
Because I feel like, and again, this is coming out after the Sunday show. I don't know. I made a joke at the end of the Friday show that like Tobias Forge was coming out.
I don't know if you should do that tomorrow.
I don't think I should do it Sunday. I think I genuinely disappointed everyone because I was like, just kidding.
Yeah, don't do that at the end of the show.
Because like he's in Mexico. Like he's not here.
It was funny though when you were like, I'm kidding, he's in Mexico.
Yeah, I was like, come on. It's like he's not even here.
Oh man.
But I think everyone believed me for a second, which like, thank you for having the faith in me that you think that I could get Tobias Forge to come out for the end of our show.
Here's the thing. If we were going to get Tobias Forge to come out, I feel like we wouldn't put him at the end of the show.
Absolutely not.
That'd be so rude.
I would have had him sat on that chaise lounge the whole time.
I was like, what are you about to say? where would you have him sat?
On the chaise lounge, on the chaise. He would have just been a little ornament that sits there, and every now and then I'd be like, Tobias Forge, what's up?
Like, hey, Tobias. So funny that you heard Tobias.
But yeah, it was funny. I made that joke. I don't think anybody was mad at me about it, but I felt the disappointment, so I didn't. Aww. I don't think I'll do that on Sunday.
Here's how I'll quell your disappointment. Our pumpkin necklaces that I ordered us just came in.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah,
I want to wear the shit out of that.
Let's fucking go.
So yeah, if you were at the Friday show, sorry if I disappointed you with that joke. I truly didn't mean to.
Okay.
Someday we'll have him be a special guest.
Yeah.
You know?
On a chase.
On something.
Chase.
We'll put him on a chaise lounge.
A chaise.
But in Sunday, who knows if I made that joke? And if I did, sorry I disappointed you too.
I'm telling you, I don't know if you should.
I don't think maybe I'll just tell you on Sunday that I made that joke and it disappointed everyone.
There you go.
There you go.
And now you'll just hear it again.
I figured it out. Okay.
Okay. All right. So we're losing it.
All right. So on the afternoon of January 13th, 1941, Betty Allen was home alone.
And alone
in the Bronx apartment she shared with her husband.
Ooh, the Bronx.
And she heard a knock at the door. When she opened it, Betty was met by a young man with olive skin, that's how he was described, and dark hair, who she had never seen before. The man explained that a few days earlier, he had been hitchhiking in Connecticut and was picked up by her husband, who was driving his bakery delivery route. The young man told Betty he'd had a hard life and had grown up in Boys Town, which was a small village in Nebraska, established a few decades earlier by Father Edward Flanagan as a home for orphaned boys.
Oh, I feel like I've heard of Boys Town.
Yeah. He was on his way to visit his sick sister in New York, and Betty's husband had been kind enough to not only give him a ride, but also lend him a few dollars. Now that he'd arrived in the city, he wanted to repay the small loan, which is like really nice.
I don't know if I buy it.
Betty explained that her husband was still at work and would be home later that day if he wanted to return.
That information.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Your husband is always home as far as strangers are concerned.
The man seemed a little disappointed and again expressed that he really just wanted to return the money. But Betty just reiterated her previous statement, my husband is not home. He will be home later this evening. Accepting this whole thing, the man was about to leave. But before he did, he wondered if Betty might be able to spare a few aspirin and a glass of water because he said he had a terrible headache all day and would have to walk back to his sister's apartment, which was like kind of far away, and he was really dealing with a headache.
All right.
Betty was like, yeah, of course. So she said, yeah, wait here. I'll get you the pills and the water. But as soon as Betty had walked away, the man slipped in behind her and closed the door.
Oh, no. That is
really scary.
Really scary. And actually, like, I hate saying this, but that's such a good way to get in. Like, most people really wouldn't think twice about that.
He endeared himself.
Yeah.
And then he just asked for something very simple, which is like, I really have a headache. And he didn't like insist on coming in the house.
Yeah.
He like waited.
Knowing that she's not going to like, maybe like, or most likely not going to lock the door behind her. Wow.
But now you know, lock the door.
Yeah.
So once inside the apartment, the man forced Betty into the back bedroom and pushed her on the bed.
Oh, no.
And just as obviously, I think you can all see that this is going to be a rough one. I would love to throw a trigger warning right now, just in case there's some sexual assault in this one. It's a little tough. He tied her hands with a necktie and her feet with a towel, and then he gagged her with a handkerchief.
Jesus.
She was laying face down on the bed, but she could hear him rummaging through the apartment, presumably looking for cash and valuables. But when he'd finished ransacking the apartment, he returned to the bedroom and she could hear him taking off his clothes, presumably to sexually assault her.
Yeah.
Fortunately, just as he had started to unbutton his pants, the telephone rang really loudly and scared him.
Oh.
It freaked him out, and he quickly dressed himself up and ran out of the apartment.
The telephone scared him off?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't know if it's just
I'm glad, but
it's just interference from the outside world. Maybe just made him be like, oh, fuck. I'm going to get in trouble here. I don't know.
Interesting.
Now, when Bronx detective Ed Burns came to the Allen apartment, the scene supported the story that Betty had told. Someone had clearly torn the place apart, ripping out drawers, pulling out the contents of the cabinets. But when he spoke to Betty and her husband, Burns only learned a few things of value that had been stolen. He was he didn't really take a lot. Mm-hmm. And other more valuable items were left behind.
Weird.
So also, after giving investigators a description of her attacker, both Betty and her husband claimed they didn't know the man, and her husband couldn't think of anyone who matched that description. So that story was not real.
A ruse.
Yeah. The rest of the crime scene was pretty unhelpful. There was a glass of water and a bottle of aspirin on the table in the kitchen, but when they dusted the glass, neither Betty nor the attacker's prints were even visible on it, indicating that he'd actually been smart enough to wipe it down before leaving the apartment, because he had wiped Betty's off too.
Oh.
And when he considered all the evidence, Burns theorized that this probably wasn't the first time this attacker had done something like this, because that was pretty smart. Mm-hmm. Also, he left behind valuables laying in plain sight while taking, again, the smaller, less valuable ones. So he was like, I don't even think that robbery was the prime motive here. So later that afternoon, detectives brought Betty and her husband into the station to look over a bunch of photos of 50 known criminals that they wanted her to look at.
That's a lot of people.
And she flips through a few pages, and she identified Anthony Litzy as the man who attacked her.
Okay.
At the time, Litzy was known to Bronx police for his involvement in a number of robberies a few years earlier. But since he'd been released from prison, he'd stayed out of trouble, and he'd actually maintained employment with a local construction crew. So they were like, fuck, is he back at it again?
Yeah.
Now, there was nothing in his past as well to suggest that he was a violent predator, too, which made them consider what was going on.
Yeah, that's weird.
But when investigators spoke to his employer, they learned that Anthony had been working at the Park Chester Apartments on the day Betty Allen was attacked, which is where she lived.
Okay.
So he was brought in for questioning. Under interrogation, Litzy vehemently denied having anything to do with this whole thing. And he offered two of his coworkers as alibis. He was like, I did not do this. But when they learned that both of Litzy's alibis were related to him by blood or marriage...
Oh, that doesn't fucking check out at all.
He was arrested for the attack on Betty Allen.
All right. So I still don't know if it's him.
You don't know. So his arrest represented the best possible outcome. A quick resolution that brought this whole thing to a close.
Feels too soon.
Or so it seemed. Imagine if I was like, and that's the end. So that's it.
The end.
Yeah,
Welcome to the shortest morbid ever recorded.
And what a happy ending. He got caught.
I know. And
Bye. So 3 weeks after the attempted assault on Betty Allen, Ed Burns was called to the apartment of John and Catherine Pappas. John had been at work that afternoon when someone came to the apartment and killed Catherine.
Oh.
Yeah. According to John, there were several things missing, including a necklace, a diamond engagement ring, and an unknown amount of dimes that Catherine had been saving in a tin on her dresser.
Oh.
But what immediately caught Burns' attention was the open bottle of aspirin and a glass of water sitting on the coffee table.
Oh, shit.
Now you know why he's called the Aspirin Bandit.
And that is such good detective work.
To notice something... Because again,
that's pretty innocuous. Right, exactly.
Many people get headaches, and especially around this time, we're in the 40s here.
Everybody had a headache.
You're taking some aspirin, you got headaches.
Yeah.
Shit's rough. We just depression era.
Yeah.
Post-depression. It's everybody's got a fucking headache, and you're all taking an aspirin for it. It's just a normal thing to do. Now, in the bedroom, Catherine's body was on the bed. She had scratches and bruising on her face, her bra was torn, and her dress was hiked up to her waist.
Oh.
But she was still wearing underwear. Later, the medical examiner would confirm that she had not been sexually assaulted, but she had been strangled, and several of her neck bones had been broken in the process.
That's brutal.
Brutal. When she was discovered, she had a linen towel tied around her throat, which had been ripped, and the other was used to bind her ankles, and her wrists had been bound with a man's new blue necktie. On the bed, there was also a balled-up handkerchief that looked like he had tried to use it as a gag, which is exactly what he did with Betty.
I was just going to say.
To Burns, the scene clearly looked very much like the Betty Allen scene immediately.
Yeah.
There was no sign of forced entry. The bottle of aspirin on the table. The apartment had been ransacked and looted.
Same bindings.
Yeah. The only difference was in this case, Catherine Pappas had fought her attacker with every ounce of energy she had in her. And for that, she was likely killed.
Yeah.
They thought like she fought so hard that he just like lost it.
Right.
Now, investigators interviewed John, who was an owner of a small coffee import business, and he told them he had been at work when his wife was killed, which was confirmed by several of his employees. And John told detectives he and Catherine had met in Egypt, where she had grown up, and they married just 2 years earlier. Since their marriage, Catherine moved to America and spent most of her time volunteering with their church, where she taught Sunday school, and she just kept up with the domestic responsibility. She was just like a stay-at-home wife. You
Very
know?
40s.
Yeah.
This part of the show is brought to you by Anua, the Korean skincare brand known for scientific, gentle, yet effective formulations. The latest from Anua is the Retinol Collagen Gua Sha Cream, a firming cream with a gua sha-shaped tip built right in. Have you guys heard of gua sha? It's that viral massage tool that moves fluid and tension out of your face. Less puffiness, a snatched jawline, honey, more definition in your face. Retinol firms and reduces fine lines, and collagen keeps your skin plump and structured. This cream has both of those things, arguably the most optimal combo for that snatched, lifted look all in one step. I am obsessed with the Gua Sha cream. First of all, it feels so cool to the touch. When you put that on your face, it's just like, this is lovely. It's like a little spa treatment that you can give yourself. I like to do mine at night after I get out of the shower. I rub the cream on my face with the little gua sha. I'm sculpting that jawline, honey. I got it on the cheekbones. And actually, I had a facial the other day, and the lady doing my facial, the professional, she said, "Do you use a gua sha at home?" And I said, "I do." And I said, "How did you know that?" And she said, "I didn't have those little like bumps in my chin or like different areas like that." So she could tell that I was using the gua sha. And I said, "Oh my God." I just feel like I wake up less puffy in the morning when I do it the night before. But you can do it whenever you want to. I, 10 out of 10, recommend this product. The Anua Gua Sha Cream Value Set is available at anua.com, already discounted. Use code MORBID for an extra 10% off. That's ANUA.com, code MORBID. This is a paid ad by BetterHelp. I happen to be somebody that struggles with people pleasing. So a lot of times I will build things up and up and up and up and up and then kind of get to the point where I'm like, I need to let this out to this person. Even in 2026, that stigma and just stigma in general can get in the way of a lot of things, like getting support for your mental health. Maybe you've encouraged friends to consider therapy while avoiding taking that first step yourself because you're busy. You're worried about what other people might think or telling yourself that you should handle this all alone. But therapy with BetterHelp, the world's largest online therapy platform, can be a space to slow down and talk through what's been building before it feels unmanageable. Just take a short questionnaire to identify your needs and preferences, and BetterHelp will handle the initial therapist matching work for you. Their industry-leading match rate means BetterHelp typically gets it right the first time. Feel confident knowing BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully qualified. Don't let hesitation hold you back. Find support with BetterHelp. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/morbid. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/morbid. Every good detective needs a partner to support them on important cases. Think of a State Farm agent like your sidekick, there to help you along the way in your search for coverage. State Farm can help you choose the coverage you need, whether it's for your home, car, boat, or even RV. With so many options, it's nice knowing you have help finding what fits for you so you can get back to solving all of life's bigger cases. Go to statefarm.com or use the award-winning app to connect with a local agent and get a quote. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
According to John, he returned home around 10 p.m. that night and rang the bell. And he explained that because his wife was new to the country, she was a little anxious and uncomfortable about being alone, especially when she was home alone, which is smart.
I've lived here my whole fucking life, and I'm anxious when I'm home alone.
So what's so kind of him is he got in the habit of ringing the bell when he arrived so that she wouldn't be frightened by him just entering the apartment.
Oh my God, that's adorable.
Yeah, she didn't want him to hear. He didn't want her to hear the door open, and, like, think somebody was coming.
Yeah,
in
be
to hurt
anxious,
her.
right?
But that night, after ringing the bell, he put his keys in the door and was surprised to find out that it wasn't locked.
Oh.
And he was like, we don't leave this unlocked when she's there. So he went in the apartment and found it had been ransacked, and he found Catherine dead in the bedroom, which is when he called the police.
That's so sad that she was so worried about being here in the first place.
The one thing she was worried about happened.
And it's like, you do wonder if she felt some sense of that.
Yeah, like she could almost tell
If she
that
was in
something was
touch.
impending.
Yeah.
It's really... you hear this a lot in these cases.
And it's always fascinating.
Where it's somebody who's, like, really nervous or very anxious about being alone, and so locks the door a lot or does whatever they knew, and then
Takes all
they
these
end up being
precautions.
the victim of these things. And you're like, it's just so horrifying to me for someone to be, that's their worst nightmare, and it comes true.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
and
the
you
one
do,
thing they didn't want to happen comes true.
and you do like everything you can to avoid it.
I hate it. Ugh.
Yeah.
So when it was suggested that she might have been having an affair, which they, of course, brought up,
So rude.
John flatly rejected the very idea, saying that she was an exceedingly proper woman who would never have done anything to compromise her reputation.
He's like, also, we were in love.
He's like, also, like, she's my wife. So also he was like, she has a very small social circle, mostly people she knew from church, and would have been really out of character for her to invite a stranger into their home under any circumstances. So the medical examiner fixed Catherine's time of death between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. Basically, that's when she would have been home alone, for the bulk of when she would have been home alone. When detectives asked the doorman if he'd seen anyone unfamiliar that afternoon, he told them as he was arriving for his shift at 2 p.m., he did see a man with olive skin and dark hair leaving the building like he was in a hurry. Now, investigators worked through the night to process the scene, which was really light on evidence and clues. And in the living room, they discovered several cigarette butts in the ashtray. And there was a brand that John and Catherine did not smoke.
Oh.
So the discovery of all these cigarettes suggested that the killer had lingered in the home.
And
before
smoked
or
inside
after.
like a douchebag.
Yeah, of course, it was the 40s, so they all
Everybody was
did that.
smoking inside. I know.
I was like, yeah, that was just normal. But this belief was supported by the presence of coffee cups on the table, which indicated that Catherine had provided at least like a coffee, water, and aspirin at the very least to this intruder.
Huh.
Which is like out of character.
Or maybe
again.
he made his own coffee there.
Yeah. So a little past 4 a.m., one of the investigators discovered a fingerprint on the water glass that didn't match Catherine's.
Oh, I love it.
Which, like, that's badass. I love 4 a.m. They're like, got it.
They're going to run it through the database in the 40s.
Yeah, exactly. Fortunately, by 1941, crime scene investigators had started carrying fingerprinting kits, and they were able to take the fingerprints of everyone who had been at the scene since the body was discovered, at the very least. So having, effectively ruled out everybody there, that meant the fingerprint almost certainly belonged to the killer, because they checked John's fingerprints as well. The print was rushed to Albany, where the state fingerprint records were kept, and a copy was also sent to the FBI in Washington, D.C. for comparison. As soon as he saw the crime scene, Detective Ed Burns was convinced that this was the same person that attacked Betty Allen. Mm-hmm. Also, in the weeks since the attack in the Allen apartment, 3 other rape and robberies had occurred, 2 in the Bronx and 1 in Washington Heights. And in each incident, the attacker had asked the woman for aspirin before attacking them. Since Anthony Litzy was in jail When the Pappas murder and other attacks occurred, it was impossible that he was responsible for any of the crimes. So he was released from jail, and District Attorney Samuel Foley admitted there was the possibility that the murder was committed by the same person.
Yeah, I would think so.
Now, detectives fanned out across the city, interviewing the owners of various pawn and junk shops around the city, hoping that the killer might have tried to, sell some of the stolen jewelry. But by the end of the day, they were really coming up with nothing. And at the same time, and honestly with remarkable speed at that, the results from the Albany fingerprint analysis came back. And unfortunately, the print found on the water glass wasn't a match for any of the prints on file. 2 days passed since the murder of Catherine Pappas, and in that time, investigators' best evidence had gone nowhere, and there were no new leads. So super frustrated, Burns and the other detectives returned to the earliest case, which was the attack of Betty Allen. They were certain that there was something in that case that was going to lead them to the killer. Betty and her husband were called back to the precinct for another interview, and Betty told her story again. She wasn't ordinarily in the habit of letting strangers in her home or even opening the door for people she didn't know, but she said the young man just seemed to know a great deal about her husband, including the route he drove as a delivery driver.
Yeah.
So she assumed he was telling the truth. He knew all that information.
So he's like watching people.
Yeah. So when they first interviewed following the attack, both Betty and her husband were adamant that they didn't know anyone who matched the description of who attacked Betty. And neither of them had any idea how the man knew all these details about them. And Betty reiterated this during the follow-up interview. But when they asked Betty's husband the same question, his story changed. This time, he explained that just a few days before the attack, he did pick up a hitchhiker while he was on a delivery route in Connecticut. And while they drove, the man told a familiar story. He had been raised in Boys Town, Nebraska, after both his parents died, and he was on his way to visit his sister in New York because she was sick and needed help. The story played on Betty's husband's sympathy, so he gave the young man a few dollars. But the hitchhiker insisted that he pay him back, so Mr. Allen gave him their address in the Bronx.
Oh, so he didn't want to say that originally, which I get. That's
rough.
He was probably embarrassed and felt so guilty
that he was being so blindly trustworthy.
That's rough.
Now at the time, Betty identified Anthony Litzy as their attacker, so her husband didn't mention the hitchhiker because it didn't seem relevant.
Yeah. Although it definitely fucking did.
It definitely was. That's how he saw it. By the time they got around to the second interview with the Allens, the story had become familiar to the Bronx detectives, having heard it from 3 other victims. In each case, the incident seemed to go in more or less the same way. The young man shows up at the door while the woman is home alone. He claimed to have borrowed money from their husbands, and he even mentions growing up in Boys Town. They all told the same story. In each case, he asks for an aspirin and a glass of water, and that's when he makes his way into the apartment, and he attacks the woman, tying them up with his necktie and whatever else he could find. And then he ransacks the apartment, stealing whatever valuables he could find before wiping the fingerprints off the glass and fleeing the scene. Same thing each time. Now, in each of the 4 cases, the attacker had been picked up hitchhiking either in Connecticut or New York. And a few days later, he would show up at the victim's apartment. So to Detective Burns, it seemed entirely reasonable that if there were 4 victims that they knew about, it was pretty possible there could be more, either in the Bronx or one of the other boroughs. Operating on that hunch, he put out a message to all the precincts across the 5 boroughs, and he asked for any cases that were similar to these attacks on Allen and the other victims. It's unknown what type of response Ed Burns was hoping for, but whatever it was, it probably paled in comparison to the incredible response he received back.
Okay.
Now, within a few hours, investigators received a call from police in Manhattan regarding a case that was really fucking similar to the one in the Bronx. The couple was brought into the Bronx precinct, and the husband explained that he had picked up a hitchhiker who told him his name was Jerry Schaffner. He told him he'd grown up in Boys Town and was trying to get to New York to visit his sister, who he'd recently, I think the sister had broken her leg in this instance and needed help getting around.
He probably just got tired of saying the exact same thing.
Yeah, you switch it up a little.
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah. Like Betty's husband, the man gave him a few dollars, and the hitchhiker insisted he wanted to pay him back, so he got their address. It's just like a bunch of dudes that are trying to be nice.
I know, but just giving out their home address, goddamn.
A few days later, Jerry Schaffner showed up at the door when the man was at work, explained the whole thing, and he seemed trustworthy, and the wife felt sorry for him. So she invited him in and offered him some lunch.
This is such a wild way to go about things. Hitchhiking with their husbands first and then, like, he infiltrates the entire family.
And preying on their goodness.
Yeah, they're,
full goodness. He's fully preying on their trustworthiness. Because this person is picking you up, giving you money, and then giving you their address.
Yeah.
You show up and then prey on the wife who's like, do you want to come in for lunch? Like,
nice
or like, do you need
aspirin?
Nice. Yeah. So after eating the sandwich that she had prepared for him, Schaffner said he had a terrible headache and asked if she could spare some aspirin. When she returned with the pills, that's when he attacked her. He tied her up. He sexually assaulted her. He looted the apartment. He then wiped down anything he touched and left. The call from Manhattan was just the first of many, many, many more calls. And by the end of the day, investigators were flooded with calls from precincts all over New York City, with cases that were nearly identical to those in the Bronx. The attacker went by many aliases: Jerry Schaffner, Jerry Mitchell, George Mundy, George Blake, and others. But the details were literally all the same. The Boys Town thing, showing up looking for aspirin, attack, assault, wipe off, leave.
All of the above.
In 1941, police precincts and districts operated more or less as like independent entities, basically, despite being like a larger, the NYPD. This had much to do with the limited communication technology as it did the limited regions they were responsible for. But as a result, they like rarely communicated with one another unless a case really required it. As a result, investigators all over New York had no idea they were pursuing the same person in multiple cases across the city right now.
Oh, dang.
Once detectives in the Bronx started pulling together all the cases, though, a bigger picture of what was going on and how surprising this one was coming into view. By plotting all the cases on a map, Burns and the other investigators were able to identify 31 cases going back 9 months, all with the same MO.
Wow.
There was a noticeable pattern in the movements, like he would catch rides from drivers in Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, or New Jersey and travel into the city. Once there, he would commit 3 or 4 assaults, and then he would leave the city and the cycle would start over again.
All right.
Yeah. Now, operating on the assumption that if the attacker could have caught rides in the states around New York, it was pretty possible he could have come from further away.
Right.
Investigators put out a bulletin to 8 states on the East Coast, stretching as far as Maine and New Orleans.
Wow.
Asking their fellow detectives to, quote, make a careful check of files for a man who gains entrance by subterfuge, claiming to know the husband. After gaining admittance and gaining women's confidence, he mugs some by applying soiled handkerchief to some's mouth, then ties hands and feet with necktie and steal money and jewelry. In the same bulletin, they included descriptions of Catherine Pappas's missing jewelry and asked pawn shop owners and jewelers to also be on the lookout in those places. They're doing like a really good job with this.
Yeah, they really are.
Meanwhile, detectives reached out to Father Edward Flanagan, the founder of Boys Town, who explained that he didn't know anyone who fit the description of the man they were looking for. He did, however, explain that he had received several postcards in recent months from men whose names he didn't recognize, and he offered to hand them over if it would help.
That's strange.
In their interviews with the victims and their husbands, many reported that the hitchhiker had gone as far as writing out and sending postcards to Flanagan while in their presence.
What?
So, to make his story more believable, basically.
But like to send them is so strange.
So this man is making up these aliases, and then he sits down after telling this story and like writes out the postcards so they feel like he's telling the truth. And then, like you said, is actually sending them. Because
that's the thing. It's
Flanagan.
Like you could go to that trouble to make the ruse believable,
also weird.
But which is also weird. But to send them is like a whole other level.
Yeah. So while they assumed the names on the cards were all aliases, Burns and the other investigators thought, at the very least, that the postcards could provide them with a handwriting sample. In fact, when they received the postcards from Flanagan, they were all signed with aliases, or simply the mayor.
The mayor?
Yeah.
What is this, Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Oh, I love that character.
Same.
But an analysis of the cards found that the handwriting belonged to the same person. In the 2 weeks after the release of the bulletin, the Bronx precinct received a second flood of reports from surrounding states, all reporting cases that matched the MO. Although the victims in all cases are different in age, race, and body type, the details of the attack are nearly identical. And investigators added an additional 50 victims to their list.
Oh my God.
Which was an average of 1 attack every 3 days.
Holy.
Yeah.
So who the fuck is this person that has all the time in the world to just hitchhike around and kill everybody?
I'm saying.
Like, what are you doing?
Like,
dude?
what are you doing?
Where do you come from?
That's the thing. They're like, who the fuck is this?
Why don't you have a job?
Now, among the worst aspects of the Aspirin Bandit attacks was definitely the physical and psychological trauma that the victims were experiencing. But nearly as bad was the ways in which the victims were re-traumatized in the days and weeks after the attack. In nearly all the cases, the attacker was only able to commit the assaults because the women's husbands gave him their addresses. Mm-hmm. But because they had limited ability to cope with the intense feelings of guilt and shames that caused, they frequently projected their feelings onto their wives, blaming them for the attacks by suggesting they'd done something to encourage the man. The 40s.
Men.
In a sense, the victims found themselves in a catch-22 situation. If they fought their attacker, as Catherine Pappas had, they could end up dead. But if they didn't fight back hard enough, then they were blamed for their assault.
Nice.
I love being a woman.
Oh, how I just love being a woman.
Damn.
I'd rather be a fairy.
Now, on February 10th, she was a fairy. On February 10th, as Burns and the other detectives continued trying to piece together the timeline of events and track the killer's movements, they received a call from a couple in Hightstown, New Jersey. According to this couple, they had picked up a young man hitchhiking a few days earlier. And after hearing the story about how he'd grown up in Boys Town, they felt sorry for him and offered to let him stay with them for a couple of days. The following morning, though, the couple woke up and found that he had stolen a bunch of valuable shit from their house, the whole place was ransacked, and the hitchhiker was gone. So both the husband and wife were artists, and the woman offered to draw a detailed sketch of the hitchhiker.
That is so fucking cool.
Isn't that awesome? From memory.
That is so cool.
And when investigators took the sketch to several of the victims, they all confirmed that is 100% the guy.
That is the coolest fucking way to be that woman and be like, God damn it, you just stole all my shit. And like, out of the goodness of my heart, I let you in. But then to be like, you know what? I'm an artist and you didn't count on me rendering a sketch from memory.
You didn't count on me having a fucking skill.
Of your bitch ass face.
Yeah, that's right. Like, fuck that guy.
Iconic.
So thanks to the couple in Hightstown, detectives now knew what their suspect looked like. And thanks to the dedicated police work and constant communication across precincts and
which
even
is
states.
So rare.
Yeah. They had a general idea of how far he'd traveled and how frequently he cycled back through New York. Unfortunately, what they didn't know was where he was and when he would strike again.
Yeah, that's tough.
That meant that as much as it pained them to do so, they kind of had to wait until he attacked someone to find his location.
It's
which
sad.
is the case a lot.
I was literally just going to say it's sad how that does happen a lot, but it's also like, what else do you
don't know what else to do. It
know?
Sucks. It's a real catch-22. Now, it turned out the next attack wasn't in New York at all, but in Washington, D.C.
Getting scared is one thing. Getting a thrill is, well, you want more of those in your life. The Genesis GV70 is built to thrill, baby. A thrilling yet elegant design always makes driving the GV70 an exciting adventure. Its powerful athletic stance screams performance and turns heads. Everybody's looking at you, girl, or boy, or whoever. Command the road and experience a class-leading standard 300 horsepower. Oh my God. Plus, discover the different dynamic drive modes for all different terrains. Choose between the different terrain modes for whatever road conditions you may encounter. The Genesis GV70's award-winning technology and performance lets you drive with comfort and drive with confidence all at the same time. It's an exciting SUV with intuitive tech that can make your ride smooth even when the road isn't. And its blind spot cameras allow you to see what's next to you. It's like having eyes on the side of your head. That's pretty iconic. Its performance, by the way, is measured not only in power, but in how it makes you feel confident, sexy. The Genesis GV70. Learn more at genesis.com and feel the GV70. This episode is brought to you by SoFi, the all-in-one finance app where you can bank, borrow, and invest all in one place. Let's talk about bank accounts for a second. The average bank savings rate is 0.39% in interest. You're earning pennies on your savings, and it doesn't have to be that way. But with SoFi's high-yield checkings and savings, the money barely making moves sitting in your savings account can earn over 8 times the national average savings rate with eligible direct deposit. No account or overdraft fees. We love transparency. You can get your paycheck up to 2 days early, plus get up to a $300 welcome bonus when you sign up with eligible direct deposit. Sign up for SoFi checking and savings at SoFi.com/morbid. SoFi checking and savings is offered through SoFi Bank N.A. member FDIC. Terms apply.
Need a boost? Sometimes all it takes is tapping into your inner cool. Icebreaker's gum helps you unleash the confidence within. Each chew releases a rush of icy flavor powered by cooling flavor crystals, sending a wave of refreshment to reinvigorate all your senses. Icebreaker's convenient pack fits everywhere, from car cup holders to backpack pockets, so you can find your cool wherever you go. Grab Icebreaker's gum online or at a store near you.
On February 19th, D.C. police received a call about a potential break-in at an apartment. But the woman had managed to fight the man off before he was able to get inside. Because they had been in communication with detectives in the Bronx, D.C. police suspected this was probably the Aspirin Bandit. So they rushed to the apartment to try to catch him. When they got there, they found the victim in the company of the building superintendent, who chased the would-be rapist up the stairs and onto the roof. But by the time the officers got to the top of the building, the man had disappeared down the fire escape and was gone. So a little less than a week later, on February 25th, another call came into the Bronx, this time from detectives in Newark, New Jersey, where another rape/robbery had been committed under similar circumstances. That report was followed by 3 more calls, all reporting similar attacks in New Jersey.
Jeez.
So by plotting the attacks on the map of the suspect's movements, investigators in the Bronx are able to track his movements and suspect he's making his way back into New York. Mm-hmm. And this time, they were like, we're going to catch this fucker. So if their estimations were right, detectives in the Bronx expected their suspect to arrive back in the city on or around March 3rd, which is fucking badass that they were able to track him to be like, he's coming back in here in March.
Yeah.
Like March 3rd.
That is impressive.
So they set up checkpoints at every train and bus depot, as well as every bridge and tunnel across the city.
I love to see
Anything coming into the city, stopping anyone who vaguely resembled the sketch.
Good for them, dude.
At the same time, police officers flooded the city, checking every motel and hotel for new arrivals and showing front desk staff every the sketch. While they were there, they also checked the handwriting samples from the postcards sent to Flanagan against the hotel logbooks, but nothing was an obvious match.
But they got everything,
They
though.
were going for it. So that evening, detectives on Manhattan's West Side stopped into the Mills Hotel, a place popular with like day laborers looking for a clean but like affordable place to stay for a short period of time.
Emphasis on the short.
Short. As they were sitting in the lobby, they noticed a man enter the hotel wearing the same blue-green coat and bright yellow shoes described by many of the victims.
Bright yellow shoes. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's like a real...
That's a crime.
Like, bold of you to wear those.
I know. Bold of you to wear bright yellow shoes
At
and try to be
but
inconspicuous.
especially when you're committing crimes. And he strongly resembled the sketch that was provided by the couple in New Jersey.
Right.
After the man registered with the clerk under the name George. Koloski.
George.
He started up the stairs towards his room, and one of the detectives rushed to the desk and compared the handwriting to the postcards, which appeared to be a match.
That is so fucking cool.
Such cool investigative work.
I love it.
However, when the detectives looked up to the register, the man was coming back down the stairs in the direction of the clerk's desk. He said, "I'd like my 50 cents back. I just remembered I have to go to work at 1 o'clock. So not wanting to miss their opportunity, they seized the man by his arms and forced him to write his name again. And again, the handwriting matched.
Yeah.
Which was, as far as they were concerned, reason to place him under arrest.
It was very strange that he was just like, oh, fuck, I forgot I have work today.
I wonder if he
was trying to get out of
he
it.
was like, I think those might be detectives. So
Probably.
I should leave. Yeah.
Because why else would you be like,
why else would you?
Lol, never mind.
Just kidding. Once they had him in the interrogation room at the Bronx precinct, investigators learned that their suspect's name was not George Koloski, Jerry Mitchell, or George Mundy, but George Joseph Svek, a 23-year-old transient with a long criminal record.
23?
23. And several stays at juvenile detention centers in his past.
Uh-oh.
At the time of his arrest, police described him as and this is their description, quote, a common road bum.
A common road bum. That is such a read.
He's just a common road bum.
Get out of here, you road bum.
You common road bum.
You nasty no good.
You're not even
common road bum.
You're not even a unique road bum. You're common.
You're a basic road bum. I
road bum.
am obsessed with that, and I
hilarious.
will be adding it to my vocabulary. Thank you.
I'm going to call everyone that pisses me off a common road bum.
I'm calling them a basic road bum. Because here's the thing, you'll go, you basic, and they're going to think that you're going to say bitch, but no, you're going to hit them with road bum.
You hit someone with road bum.
Yeah, there ain't no coming back.
They don't see it coming.
No.
They'll never in a million years see that coming.
And they won't know what hit them.
And you know what? That's a little gift from us to you.
Yeah,
okay.
Call them a basic
Use it in your
road
next
bum.
argument.
There you go. You're welcome.
Yeah, he had no permanent address and no employment to speak of.
Road bum.
So a brief look into George's background revealed a rather unremarkable and directionless young man who'd made his way in the world through theft and other criminal activities.
Not great.
George was born in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, in a large and generally dysfunctional family.
Relatable.
When he was 12 years old, George was caught robbing his own parents' house.
Shit, that's fucked up. At 12?
Yeah. And when his own mother tried to intervene, he beat her and continued robbing them.
What the fuck?
He's a fucking demon.
Yeah, he's beyond road bum.
I
wouldn't even say he's a basic road bum.
This goes far beyond road bum.
Yeah, this goes far beyond road bummery. This is not just your typical day-to-day road bummery. This is different. This hits so different. I really got you.
This is just your classic road bummery over here.
It's not.
This is not.
This is.
This is not. You are correct. This is not classic road bummery.
I don't know what this is.
I don't know why that word is just that phrase is so funny.
I love it.
It's just, how can you not laugh at that? But either way, this case of far beyond road bummery got him a short stay in a boys' reformatory, not Boys Town.
Yeah, they were like, don't beat your mom's ass.
Yeah, don't do that. And when he was released, he returned to his parents' home and attempted to rob them a second time.
Get out, get out, get out.
Yeah. For a second robbery, he was returned to the reformatory, but that time he was sentenced to 5 years. By the time he was released, George was old enough to be on his own and spent the next 5 years supporting himself through robbery and theft.
Yikes.
When she was told about the news of her son's arrest, Barbara told a reporter, "He's my boy, and I don't want to see him die in the electric chair.
Aww.
But I don't feel too much sympathy for him. He's always been bad. He's always wanted to steal money and not work for it. I guess he's no good."
Oh, that's so sad. The end of that, I guess he's no good.
It's literally devastating.
Oh, that poor mama.
Yeah.
It's not your fault, girl.
You didn't do
I don't
it.
know that for sure, but
it
doesn't feel that way.
I can't totally stand on that business because I don't know your life.
I'm I'm 5 toes down on that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Now, when confronted with the accusations, George denied having anything to do with the Pappas murder or the other sexual assaults and robberies in several states up and down the East Coast. But when investigators fingerprinted him and compared his prints to the print left behind at the Pappas murder scene, they determined it was a match.
Oh, bitch.
Despite the evidence linking him to the crime scene, George was like, nope, didn't do it. Until investigators put him in a lineup.
Oh.
One after another, victims were brought into the station to view the grouping of 6 or 7 men, including George. And in 1941, there was no two-way glass or video monitoring systems.
Oh.
So each victim was brought into a room and stood just a few feet from the man who violently sexually assaulted them.
The bravery that would take.
That's
next
is
level.
Trauma on a level I can't even fathom.
Good for those women.
Some looked him in the eye and firmly identified George as their attacker.
Wow, good for them.
And others broke down and could do nothing else but point at him.
Yeah, because you're being re-traumatized, like you just said.
Every single one of them identified George as their rapist.
Wow.
Also, while most of their husbands were able to provide moral support to their wives during this horrible moment, at least one victim's husband lost his composure and tried to attack George before he was physically removed by the room. And I say, why'd you physically remove him from the room? Because
for that man.
Snaps to that man.
Honestly, if my husband didn't try to beat his ass, we'd get in a fight later.
Honestly. Like, good for that guy.
Yeah.
I know violence is not the answer to anything. Like, I get it. But
I mean, sometimes, like...
I'm sorry, if somebody is... If I'm a husband and somebody violently raped my wife...
Violence is the answer.
I'm going to hurt
for a
that
minute.
person.
For
It's
a quick
just the way it
moment.
is. For a minute.
Just a quick old 1-2 to the face, you know?
A quick little boot. Now, before being confronted and identified by at least a dozen of his victims,
Wow.
George had been confident to the point of fucking cockiness.
Ew, of course. Of course. 23-year-old motherfucker.
But at some point during the lineup, it must have come clear to him that he wasn't getting out of this. By the end of the lineup, George had lost any hint of his previous cockiness, and in the early morning hours of March 4th, he broke down and confessed to attacking at least 15 of the more than 80 suspected victims.
And don't forget,
80.
That's insane. And don't forget, he's not just a rapist, he's a murderer.
Oh, yeah, and he confessed as well to murdering Catherine Pappas.
Yeah.
So he's a piece of absolute fucking garbage.
Garbage.
In their interview, George confirmed what police had already learned about him. Most of his victims were women whose husbands he had met while hitchhiking and using his charm and ingratiating manner. He would get enough information from them to sound convincing when he showed up at their door a few days later.
And he really did.
When it came to the attack on Catherine Pappas, however, he changed his usual approach. On that day, George had happened to stop into the building and look over the names on the mailboxes and decided to take what he described as a blind stab by ringing the couple's doorbell.
What?
So she was chosen at random. And he told investigators, she told me she had been making cookies for her husband and offered me some.
And
if that doesn't make you want to fucking wring his neck.
Yeah, that's the thing. Your bitch ass went in there and took her life. This woman who was literally spending her afternoon making cookies for her husband, and she's the one who made him a sandwich, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You piece of dog shit.
Yep. He said, I sat beside her on the sofa. I slipped my arm around her neck and pulled her head back. Then, with my right hand, I removed my necktie and tied her hands behind her back. I carried her to the bedroom and put her on the bed.
Why?
Once they were in the bedroom, Catherine began fighting back hard and even managed to bite George's finger.
Good.
Leaving a wound that was still visible upon his arrest nearly a month later.
Good.
She broke motherfucking skin.
I hope it hurt for the rest of his life and actually into the afterlife as well.
George claimed that he eventually clamped his hands around her neck to keep her from screaming, and a few minutes later, he just realized that she was dead. He's literally claiming that he accidentally strangled her manually. We've all been over this. We know how long it takes to strangle someone manually. We know how much pressure needs to be consistently put upon someone's neck to manually strangle them. You don't accidentally do that.
It's like 7 minutes long.
Yeah, you don't do it.
Get a fucking grip, my guy.
Get out of here. At that point, he rummaged through the apartment, grabbed whatever he could, but because he was panicked, he forgot to wipe down the water glass and left behind the fingerprints.
Idiot.
District Attorney Samuel Foley told reporters following his arraignment that poor woman never got a chance to scream.
No.
Now, despite being able to convincingly link George to dozens of other sexual assault victims, District Attorney Foley chose to pursue only the murder charge in the case of Catherine Pappas, because the murder charge was a capital offense and the prosecutor was seeking the death penalty. So if he were to be found guilty, George would be paying the ultimate price, with or without the additional charges. Mm-hmm. In the months after this, as the district attorney built the case, George began speaking to any members of the press who would listen, primarily to minimize his responsibility and reject the claims of additional victims. He asked a reporter, those stories about me attacking 15 or 23 women, where do they come from?
The
reality.
Fact that you attacked 23 to 50 women?
Yeah, they come from the reality.
They come from what your
of
fucking actions?
Yeah.
Your bitch-made actions?
He said, you got me identified by a lot of women. I ain't never seen 3/4 of them in my life.
You did.
Immediately upon that statement, how that's phrased, you did it.
Uh-huh.
Yep, you did it. George's trial began in mid-April, and he maintained his defiant stance from beginning to end.
What a douchebag.
Before the final members of the jury had even been selected, George was admonished by the judge after he jumped to his feet and shouted at the judge, "You're supposed to be sitting on this case. Mind your own business." After the judge questioned his lawyer for his methods of interviewing potential members of the jury.
Make that make sense for me. You're supposed to be sitting on this case. So he's like, here you are doing your job, which is being in my business of all the shit that I've committed.
literally.
And he says, the judge is like, this is all of my business.
He's like, this is literally my courtroom.
Not only, like this is my
is mine.
actual business. Like,
Yeah.
I get paid for this.
Like, I'm in the business of this.
judging your
like,
ass.
of all this.
Quite literally. Like,
Yeah.
what?
And I love it because in
imbecile.
response, Judge James Bartlett just stared at him.
Oh, I love it.
And then sternly said, I will not tolerate such outbursts. This is the first and last outburst you will make.
He treated him like
Yeah.
the child he
He
was.
said, you little baby man.
He said, you petulant fuck.
You petulant little fucking child.
That part.
A week into the trial, the entire case had to be put on hold when Judge Bartlett fell asleep under a sun lamp for about 2 hours and suffered a particularly bad burn.
I was really rooting for him just now, and I feel different. I feel a little bit different. I really went so hard for him just now, and I'd like to maybe back that up a teeny bit. Just a hair. just a little hair.
Just like a beep, beep. You know, just quick.
My guy.
What?
Idiot.
What do you mean,
Babe.
What do you mean?
You gotta stay awake under the sun lamp.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
now these days, don't be going under sun lamp.
Don't you fucking go tanning.
My guy
Don't
Obese
you
taxed
do
it for a reason.
Don't do it.
Do you remember when Snooki was so fucking personally angry
Yeah.
at Obama for that?
I don't want you guys to get melanoma.
No, just spray tan.
I don't want
You
that.
want to be tan? I mean, like cool. Spray tan.
Yeah, spray tan.
They're
Go
si-
ahead.
They got the mitts now. They got
And
the.
I think they have like natural shit that's like not even like because I mean other
Some of that
spray
shit is
tans
so
are
bad,
like
I know.
fucking chemically bad. But
Do you remember? Were you ever a Jergens girly? Jergens, I think it's natural glow.
here's the thing about me.
You've never wanted to be tan.
No, I did at one point. I really wanted to be tan, but then I realized I'm not meant to be tan.
I'm not really
So I did
either.
try that Jergens journey for like a minute and a half, and then I realized like this isn't it.
Here's the thing.
And I just embraced.
Even when they smell good for like a second, and I'm sorry if you self tan, but I've tried it too. I've also wanted to be tan.
Yeah.
You smell like chicken.
There is a
You
chickeny
smell
smell
like
to it.
chicken.
There is.
Self tan smells like chicken.
There is a little bit of a chickeny smell.
There is.
You are correct.
You
about
can
that.
mask it, I guess, but like I don't know. It
There's
never
just
worked
a
out for
certain
me.
smell to it.
It never
but I
worked
think
out.
there's like there's like natural ones now that probably don't have that chickeny smell.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of girlies are getting like good spray tans.
Some girlies are getting good spray
And
tans.
like get it.
Whenever I did a spray tan, one, I looked absolutely fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
And two, it always made my hands look weird.
Yeah, I would get it between my fingers. and
Yeah, but some
I'd freak
girlies
out.
have that shit mastered.
That's the thing.
Those
Like,
are the queens out
which
here.
like I was gonna say you're queens if you can do that.
You know who's not a king out here?
Yeah,
The
just
judge, for falling asleep under the sunlight.
and do it responsibly if you're.
I really
if you're
can't
doing it.
believe I went so hard for him.
Yeah, but you know what? 2 weeks later, the trial had resumed, so
Okay.
he got over that little speed bump.
Yeah, just
you know?
that big old burn.
He came back with like such a glow.
I was literally going to say, they said, Your Honor, may I? You're glowing.
May I? And he said, I almost died.
Yeah, he said it was a real journey to get here.
It wasn't a good sleep.
It was a real journey to get
It
this
was.
glow.
He said, this glow, you don't want it.
Don't come for free.
Now, despite having already been warned by the judge about his outbursts, George proved to be incredibly difficult from the moment the trial began. In fact, when he finally took the stand in his own defense, he refused to answer nearly all the questions put to him by the prosecution.
Then why go on the stand, my fucking guy?
He just chose to sit petulantly on the witness stand with his elbows on the railing and his chin cupped in his hands.
Oh, what a little bitch.
Finally, after countless questions had been asked and unanswered, George told the prosecutor, "It's no use continuing with those questions. I refuse to answer them. I told you I killed her. I want to take my punishment. It's only a question of first or second degree murder." So he doesn't give a fuck.
Wow.
If they don't give him first degree, when I was reading this, I was like, motherfucker, if they don't give him first degree murder,
Yeah.
I'll fight.
I'm a head out.
I'll fight.
I'm a head back in time.
Yeah. And then head out.
And then head out.
And with that, the prosecution rested its case against George and the jury was excused for deliberation. So they deliberated for less than a half hour.
Because he literally sat on the stand and said, I killed her, get over it.
And then he was
he
like-
literally did Courtney from fucking Jawbreaker. He said,
Yes.
I killed Liz. I killed the teen dream.
Deal with it. That's literally
He literally
what
did
he
that.
said. He literally did that.
Fucked up.
And then he was like, now it's just first or second, which I'm like, did you think you were getting second?
You literally said I killed her.
Like, did you really just think that you had any chance of getting second after that?
When everything, all the shit you went through, it was
Like,
very
please,
much premeditated.
You literally planned the entire thing.
Yeah.
So they come back into the courtroom after less than a half hour, and they found him guilty of first-degree murder for causing the death of Catherine Pappas. When the verdict was read, the ever-defiant George said nothing and just stared coldly at the judge. When asked by reporters for a comment, District Attorney Samuel Foley said, "This man is a contemptible liar. George has continuously tried to evade the responsibility for what he did in Bronx County on February 4th. He is even low enough to besmirch the name of the woman whose life he has taken." Aww. The following day, George was back before Judge Barrett, who set an execution date for July 7th, 1941. After the customary appeals and small delays, 24-year-old George Svec was executed in the electric chair at Sing Sing Prison on February 26th, 1942.
Rest in distress, you petulant bitch-made road bum.
Common road bum.
Basic road bummery.
Just a basic common road bum.
Wow, I've never heard of that.
It is such... I almost think we need to name it something instead of the Aspirin Bandit, because it just does not give the full scope.
Well, because it's so much more that he's a rapist. He's not just a bandit.
So I think we'll name it something different, but it's called the Aspirin Bandit case.
Yeah, it's well known as that.
The communication between the different precincts in different states.
And the detective work.
Unbelievable.
In the 40s.
The investigative work that went into this was top notch. This is one of those that you go,
hats off.
There it is.
Yep.
That's what I'm looking for. Because we have so many that you're just like, what the fuck? And then this one, you're like, fuck yeah, investigators.
I love the ones where we can hats off to them.
Because they really went for it.
Because it gives you a little bit of hope in humanity. When you're hearing about all these terrible murders and rapes and everything. That's awful.
Yeah, and you're like, at least these people went full tilt to catch this guy. And they did. It paid off. This fucker didn't get far. He was only 23 years old.
Here's the thing
it was worth it.
About practicing basic road bummery. Yeah. You'll always get caught.
You're going to get caught.
You're far too basic to make it.
Your road bummery will come to a violent end.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, that's the Aspirin Bandit.
What a crazy case.
Yeah.
Well, guys, if you're coming to the show, or you did already on Sunday, it was so much fun. And also, I can't wait to see you.
Yeah. Both simultaneously
at the same time. So that's what simultaneous is.
Yeah.
Well, we also hope you keep listening simultaneously.
And at the same time. And we hope you
keep
it
weird simultaneously and at the same time.
Don't be a classic road bum.
Don't practice that road bummery.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well.
Angie, the one you trust to find the ones you trust. Find a pro for your project at Angie.com.
Your phone is your lifeline. Calling your kid to say goodnight, waiting on a job callback, or just sending a meme to your best friend when it's been that kind of day. Wherever life takes you, the Text Now app keeps you connected for free. Get a real phone number, unlimited talk and text, and 5G data for your favorite apps, all for $0 a month. No fixed contracts, no hidden fees, no panic when bills pile up, just phone service that's there when it matters most. Text Now. We've got your back. Download Text Now in your app store today. Wireless plans require the purchase of a SIM card. Visit textnow.com for terms and conditions.